All right, hello everyone, and welcome to our third webinar in our 2015 blog, webinar, and seminar series, Back to Basics. We're probably going to have a couple people coming in here a little bit late. We had to switch some links around, so I'm going to talk slow to give people a chance to get here. So just a little background. Every day there's more and more clutter out in the world, and it's so easy to get distracted and lose focus. So we are continuing our Back to Basics conversation about LinkedIn this time. And so this is an interactive presentation, so we want to hear your questions. So please post them on Hangouts and on YouTube. You can also tweet us using the hashtag RPS Back to Basics, and it's on the screen right now. All right, okay. So for those of you who don't know us, we're Rock, Paper, Scissors. I'm Amanda Sutt, and I'm creative director here at Rock, Paper, Scissors. We have been in business for 3 decades, so we have seen a lot of change and done a lot of changing ourselves to keep up with trends and changes in the last 3 decades. We are by trade a branding and web development firm. We focus on our clients' brands, not just the logo and marketing collateral, but the entire experience, which in today's world includes the digital. Anything from website to social media to email marketing and more. So before we get too deep into LinkedIn, I want to do a little recap because all of the content we're working on this year is building. Our last webinar was on marketing channels, which is the underlying theme to our Back to Basics campaign. Marketing channels are the avenues by which you can reach your audience. So this is your website, this is radio, billboards, email, social media, specifically today, LinkedIn. And not all marketing channels are created equal, especially when it comes to targeting different audiences. To take it a step further, you can't know where to find an audience or how to connect with them until you know who they really are and really taking the time to understand demographics and psychographics. So if you have done this work and you've decided and know that your audience is on LinkedIn, demographically speaking, they're a professional industry, and that they're very busy, and that LinkedIn is their social media platform of choice, then you're in the right place. And it also, there's some other things we'll get into a little bit, but that's what you want to focus on. All right, so LinkedIn, love it or hate it, this is what we're getting into today. So today, we're going to cover best practices in various elements that make up an engaging presence on LinkedIn. Because this platform can seem intimidating to new users, we want to talk about basics and creating a firm foundation for growth. So this is a very rudimentary talk on LinkedIn. We can definitely get a little bit deeper into it if we have some questions, and then if there's enough interest, we might actually do another level of it. All right, so before we talk about how to use it, I always like to start with the history. So it's been around for a while. LinkedIn launched in May 5th, 2003, and has quickly become the world's largest professional network. And it connects business professionals for employment and networking purposes. And so this is not your mom's Facebook account. So in social media terms, 2003, this platform being 12 years old makes it almost ancient, but it's a great place so that you can regularly post jobs related to your profile and information in industry, connect with business contacts, trying to either make sales or take it to the next level. LinkedIn is a valuable resource if you use it to the full extent. All right, so here's a quick anatomy of LinkedIn. We're going to focus on the first 3 sections of LinkedIn. So if you're looking at the navigation, we're going to look at home, profile, and connections. So home is where you see what you and your connections are posting. Your profile is all about you, and this is all the content that you're posting about you and your expertise. And then the connections, this is where you find people you're already connected with, or LinkedIn can make recommendations, or you can find new connections to this section. So we're going to focus on those 3 basic things today. All right, first up, we're going to start talking about the all-star profile. I'm going to talk about you first. All right, so the all-star profile. It's easy to add a selfie and mention a few lines about what you do, but to truly leverage all that LinkedIn has for a user, your profile must be detailed and relevant. Uh, the all-star profile is created when you fill in as many of the given categories that apply to you. The more relevant information you provide about yourself, the more connections in industry executives LinkedIn has as a whole, they'll identify you and start helping you build some more relationships. So the more good data you put in, the best results you're going to get out. The best relationships come from that, oh, you too? So for that reason, we've broken down how to get your own all-star profile and start making some valuable connections. All right, the first and probably the most important step is to upload a relevant recent photo. Few people connect with users that have no image because it communicates a disconnect and that you aren't taking the time to just invest in your profile. It also is a great confirmation to make sure you are the correct John Smith, since LinkedIn is basically based on name searches. So adding a photo allows users to see the real person, not just a figure on a screen. It gives it that personal touch. Also gives some familiarity. You want to make sure your picture actually looks like you and it's not overly photoshopped. We don't want any online dating profiles that look nothing like you, because you're going to work with these people, run into these people. It adds to your credibility if your picture actually looks like you. You want somebody to see you on LinkedIn and then to be able to spot you in a networking event, or if you're having a lunch with them, they know who you are. So really take that into consideration when you're selecting your photo. All right, so the All-Star profile makes it clear what your purpose is as a LinkedIn user as well. So for example, those who are looking to find a job, it's often have their profile say, John Smith, seeking new opportunity in blank field. Or those who are currently hold a position, John Smith, Chief Marketing Officer at Rock, Paper, Scissors, so that people know who you are and why you might be reaching out to them. This helps those who run across your profile to understand what you're seeking as a LinkedIn member and how connecting with you could be beneficial. Now, just a warning, if you are looking for a job and you're currently employed and your current employer does not know, I would not recommend seeking new opportunity. So just be careful. Remember, whatever's out there, anybody can find. All right, so I want to go through a little bit of the content below the profile picture. So the All-Star profile has solid content. To become an All-Star, fill in every category that adds value to your profile. It should reflect your goals and accurately represent you as a business professional. So going through the sections, first up is a summary, and this tells others about yourself, your career thus far, and your vision. So it's that quick little snapshot just about you. Right below that is going to be the experience. This is the more detailed information from the above, and the list it displays is very similar to that of a resume, because it shows a logo if they're already in LinkedIn, your role, how long you were with them, the name of the company. In addition to that, you also have the opportunity to select skills, and skills give you the opportunity to select proficiencies that help you do your job better and make you better qualified for the business relationship or position you're seeking. LinkedIn has an added feature where another user can endorse your skills, confirming that you're an expert. So it's giving you a little bit of social proof when it's not just you saying that you can do it. In addition to your skills, also there's a whole section just for your education. There are a few more unifying things today than connecting with alumni from your college or university. It is a deep-seated connection that happens very quickly once you find an alum. So we highly recommend listing your education institutes to help people relate to you, and also to support your reputation, because you've invested a lot in that experience. This is a great section that is probably one of my favorite ones, because it adds to the personal side of this, is putting your volunteer experiences and causes, because it lets others know what you're passionate about. If you truly are passionate about a cause and give time and energy to it, chances are you'll find connections that share that passion. And these can often develop into strategic partnerships because there are like-minded individuals. So in addition to that, you can actually also upload your resume as well. So that can be included on the post when you're looking at it. All right, so that is it for the All-Star profile. So I want to get a little bit into connecting with care. It's really easy to set up a profile and it be there and then to not do anything about it. And so I want to talk through some of the key ideas that you want to use to make this a valuable platform for you. So connecting on LinkedIn is not following on Twitter or friending on Facebook. It's important to remember that each connection you pursue should be intentional and beneficial. In the same sense, when individuals invite you to connect, truly weigh the costs and benefits of accepting the request. This can be very critical. Your online reputation depends on it because remember, you are the company you keep. And speaking of that is don't connect with everybody. Not everybody is going to help you look like the professional, well-connected business person that you are and will add value to your connections. Keep in mind the company you keep impacts the opportunities that you receive and will help you make wiser connection choices and decisions and networks in the future. So as you're starting to connect, don't just send the generic connection message. LinkedIn has been kind enough to provide us with a message template. However, you have much better chance of earning respect and getting a reply when you customize your connection message based on who you're reaching out to and why you want to connect. So take the extra, 2 minutes to talk a little bit about them and show that you're more than just a template and to give a little bit more of your personal side as well. So there's also the flip side of why you want to connect. Don't just connect to connect. If the person doesn't represent your values, career, ambitions, or industry, don't waste your time adding them. Don't muddy the waters. There's no sense having 200 plus connections that add no value to your online resume. In addition to that, to take it a level further is to develop strategic partnerships that connect you with those that have the potential to become more than just a connection, but a partner. They might not be a direct lead, but their connection and influence will aid you and them to your next level of goals. So these individuals can act as mentors or business partners or just someone you can bounce ideas off of as a trusted advisor. These relationships are based on trust and communication and like-mindedness, and they are valuable and worth investing in. All right, so now that you're connected, let's get through some just basic LinkedIn best practices. All right, so quality over quantity is the name of the game when it comes to posting on LinkedIn. Every time you post, you have the opportunity to impact and engage with someone new. Being conscious of your content, timing, and call to action is imperative. Your post should be business-oriented. This can be used more loosely depending on the industry in which you reside, but it's a concept to definitely keep in mind. LinkedIn is designed to be a professional platform and should be regarded as such. Limit personal posts to extremely relevant circumstances. Otherwise, keep it posted on Twitter and Facebook. If you connect with those that establish your credibility and increase your network. And I know we're saying this a lot, but it's really important. Connecting with your high school sweetheart may seem like a nice thing to do, but if their industry values or vision differ from yours, their presence on your LinkedIn does nothing but muddy your credibility. So really be conscious of the people that you're starting to connect with, because people will go on your profile and see who you're connected with, and that starts to create a picture in their mind of who you are. And you can see and you get notifications if people are looking on your page, and you want to make sure you have that best foot forward moving forward. All right, so also remember your responsibility to represent yourself and your company honorably. We've all heard the warnings to be careful what you post on the internet, because you can never truly deleted. With this in mind, don't let emotions get the best of you, or the long days to cause you to post things that might harm you or your company's reputation. I love to use the grandma test. So when in doubt, read what you just posted and think about how your grandmother would react to that. Would she think that's good? Would she think that's bad? It's just a good little personal self-check to make sure that you're upholding your reputation. So remember that this is definitely a process. LinkedIn success, as with all marketing efforts, is a marathon, not a sprint. Even though it's very quick and easy to connect with people online, we are still human beings, and we still have the same processes to build trust and decide to move forward with a relationship or start working with somebody. So understand that this is not going to make things happen faster, but it's going to help you communicate more efficiently. So much of the success of being linked on is related to your willingness to put adequate time and effort into growing a beneficial network and establishing yourself as an expert. Give yourself time to grow into a LinkedIn all-star and develop connections that truly give you an edge in your industry. All right, so we're going to open up for some questions. I know we had some questions come through already, so I'm going to dive into these. So if you guys have questions as we're wrapping this up, post them on the Hangout or on YouTube, or you can tweet them to us, and we'll spend the next like 5-10 minutes going through them. If not, and you want to come back later, continue to post questions on the Hangout or on YouTube, and we'll follow up for the next week or so just to make sure that we're helping you guys get the most out of LinkedIn. All right, so here's up first. What details should a person specify to enable them to apply for jobs using their profile instead of a resume? That's a good question. There's some different ways to do this. I know if you're actually applying for a job that's been posted on LinkedIn, there's a one-click button that you can submit your LinkedIn resume. I've also, just in the hiring process, if you just send people your LinkedIn resume as your active resume, that's acceptable in some areas, especially a lot of groups that are only accepting resumes from Twitter, because that's starting to happen a lot. So that's something to really think about. The nice thing about submitting your LinkedIn resume is if you have attached resume, everything's in one place. It's all up to date. So that's just something to think about with that. There's nothing that you specifically have to do to it. Under your profile name, there's going to be a link that you can send people that will take them directly to your profile. So just look for that underneath it. All right, next question. What should or should not be displayed in your LinkedIn profile? Like, what is necessary and unnecessary? As it comes, keep this as strictly as professional as you can. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't put your goals and aspirations of what you want, what you want to become in your job and your career, but have this be career focused. This is not the place to post happy birthdays. Leave that for Facebook. But this really needs to be about your job moving forward. And it's going to vary from industry to industry. And don't be afraid to be yourself. If you're so buttoned up and serious about it, your personality is not going to come through, and you're not going to stand out among the millions of LinkedIn users or hundreds of applicants if you're starting to apply for a job, or especially if you're actually a business active in your business and you're looking for new connections. If you're looking for partners or vendors, you want to have that profile come across and really start to reflect who you are, so that when they meet you in person, it's not a big surprise. So that's really important. All right. Next, how do you keep one's profile relevant for the roles you're interested in being considered for to ensure others find you easily? Okay, that's a great question. The section at the top where you get to do your overview, your summary overview, it's a great place to talk about your aspirations, for one thing. But there's a lot of algorithms going on LinkedIn as well. So one of the best ways to deal with that is just to actually look on other types of industries and jobs on their pages, interact with them, make posts that use keywords that are relevant to your interest. do job searches, LinkedIn is always building algorithms based on your activity. So as long as your activity is reflecting what your actual goal is, it will start populating and helping you focus in on it. Because when there are millions of users and thousands upon thousands of businesses on LinkedIn, it's hard to keep all of that narrowed in. So that's a big thing to keep in mind as you're doing that. All right, okay. Oh, this is a good one. Do you have a template suggesting a planning calendar of how frequently to post on LinkedIn to generate readership? Any general rules of contacts needed to move readers towards becoming a buying client? Okay, so this is like all social media. One, you need to understand what your intention is. So I'm going to make an assumption based on this question that this is more dealing with a business profile as opposed to personal posting. A rule of thumb when you're starting is I usually do 3 to 5 posts a week, and if you're doing blog articles, no more than 2. Start with that. That's a doable amount, and it all comes down to know what your goal is, make sure you're clear with your call to actions, execute, measure, and refine. So if you do that, you're going to figure out that maybe you only have to post twice a week, or maybe you need to post 3 times a day. You do want to be very cautious to keep that you keep in people's mix on their homepage without dominating their newsfeed. So that's some important things to think about when you're dealing with that, because you don't want to overwhelm people and people to get just done with what you're doing. So you want to engage on the right level. But it really comes down to that planning before you post, is knowing what you want to do and being very clear with that with your team who's doing the posting. Okay, oh, I have a question about endorsements and what do they do? So endorsements came out probably a couple years ago, I think now. And they're just a very low level interaction. There's not a lot of substance to it because all you're doing is saying, yes, this person has this skill. But it does have some value. I don't over abuse it, but understand that it does help because it does show that you support these other people and that you're qualifying them. And it also helps with top of mind, saying, I was thinking about this person, so I endorsed these skills that they had. It doesn't help build deeper relationships though. I always think of the endorsements as a top of mind interaction and not really a like true engagement. True engagement is going to come from making posts and commenting and interacting there, or using the messaging feature to actually reach out and engage and build relationships. Remember that LinkedIn is really no different than going to a networking event, except that you can do it from your chair behind your computer and you don't have to go in traffic. You still have to show up and be present and be there regularly for people to build trust in who you are and who your brand is. So posting your LinkedIn profile and never doing anything with it is not going to help you. But then also over abusing it by like always talking about yourself, thinking about the people at a cocktail party or a networking event who all they do is continually talk about themselves and never engage. You get tired of them pretty quickly. So just always think about that. You know, what if you were going to be making this post or making this comment at a face-to-face at a networking event, would you make it? Would this help propel a conversation, a relationship? So keep that in mind. Just because there's a screen between you doesn't mean that those core fundamentals are any different. So, all right, do you have any other questions? I think that's it. All right. Well, thanks guys for tuning in today. We will send a recap and a link to the video after this so you can get through it. And let us know if you want to go a little bit deeper in LinkedIn. We're more than happy to pull together some other content getting into some of the paid posts, different user levels, because there's a lot more to LinkedIn than what we talked about today. So we're here to serve you and help you make your marketing that much more effective and efficient. Probably actually would love to do one just on business profiles and what that's like. But like with all social media, you are a person before you are a business. So once you have all this set up, then we can come back and then start talking about that. So y'all have a good day and we'll catch you next time. Speaking of which, We are going to be getting into hashtags, and we are super excited about this. We get lots of questions on the purpose of them, how to use them, what is too many, how do you create them, how do you find them. So in July, we will be doing a whole webinar just on hashtags. So until next time, thanks guys.